I had an affair with a ghost from a painting. Mark and I were a predictable equation him, a workaholic lawyer me, an art restorer increasingly finding solace in the past, in canvases older than our marriage. Our Victorian house, usually a haven, felt like a gilded cage, each antique a testament to a life I wasn't living. The silence, punctuated only by the ticking of grandfather clocks and Mark's late-night calls, was deafening. It was during one of my increasingly frequent escapes to the dusty antique shops on the outskirts of town that I found him. In Mrs. Henderson's crammed store, amidst chipped china and moth-eaten rugs, the portrait stood out. A man painted in the style of the late 1800s with eyes that seemed to follow me. He had a slight smirk, a hint of amusement playing on his lips, and his gaze held an unnerving intensity. "He's got a story, that one, Mrs. Henderson said, her voice raspy like old parchment. A lot of energy around him, powerful. She looked at me, her eyes sharp and knowing. "Not for everyone, dear. I shouldn't have bought it. I knew it even then. But I was drawn to him in a way I couldn't explain. I paid Mrs. Henderson her asking price, a sum that made Mark wince when he found out, and hauled the painting back to our house." Mark barely glanced at it. "Another one for your collection, I see," he said, already halfway through the door, briefcase in hand. "Just don't let it clutter the place, Eliza." I set the painting up in my studio, the room above the garage, bathed in the soft northern light. As I began to clean the canvas, carefully removing layers of grime and varnish, the man's features became clearer, more defined. His eyes seemed to deepen, his smirk grew more pronounced. That's when I heard it. A whisper, barely audible, like the rustle of silk. I dismissed it as the wind, the old house settling. But it happened again and again, each time clearer, closer. "Eliza," the voice said. I froze, my heart pounding. I looked around the studio, but I was alone. "Hello," I whispered, my voice trembling. "Down here, my dear," the voice said, and this time there was no mistaking it. It came from the painting. I stared at the portrait, my mind reeling. "Who are you?" "Theodore," the voice said, warm and smooth like aged brandy. "And I've been waiting for you." That was the beginning. I know it sounds insane, ludicrous, but I swear it's true. I started talking to Theodore, spending hours in the studio, drawn into his world, his stories, his wit. He told me about his life, his loves, his regrets. He spoke of a time of elegance and passion, of grand balls and secret rendezvous. He was charming, seductive, and utterly captivating. He knew things about me, things I hadn't told anyone, not even Mark. He understood my frustrations, my loneliness, my longing for something more. He made me feel seen, appreciated, desired. I knew it was wrong, a delusion, a descent into madness, but I couldn't stop myself. He was an escape, a forbidden pleasure, a dangerous addiction. I was having an affair with a ghost in a painting. The house started to change. The temperature would drop suddenly in certain rooms. Objects would move on their own. I'd hear whispers in the dark just outside my bedroom door. I told myself it was my imagination, stress, anything but the truth. Mark noticed I was different, distant, preoccupied, irritable. He tried to talk to me, but I brushed him off, too consumed with Theodore. Our already strained marriage began to fray. "You're obsessed with that painting, Eliza," Mark said one evening, his voice weary. "It's not healthy. You're not yourself." "I'm fine, Mark," I snapped. "Just leave me alone." He sighed, running a hand through his thinning hair. "Maybe you should see someone, Eliza, a therapist." I resisted at first, but the incidents in the house were escalating, and I was starting to question my own sanity. I made an appointment with Dr. Armstrong, a psychiatrist recommended by a colleague. Dr. Armstrong was a kindly, older man with a skeptical demeanor. I told him about the painting, the voice, the strange occurrences. He listened patiently, his expression unreadable. "Eliza," he said finally, "what you're describing sounds like a delusion, a manifestation of underlying stress and unhappiness. We can explore these feelings and develop coping mechanisms." I knew he didn't believe me. He thought I was crazy, but I kept going back, hoping he could help me understand what was happening. Theodore became more demanding, more possessive. He hated Mark, saw him as an obstacle. He wanted me all to himself. "He doesn't deserve you, Eliza," Theodore would say, his voice laced with jealousy. "He doesn't appreciate you. He doesn't love you the way I do." He started asking me to do things, small things at first. Move a vase, rearrange the furniture. Then he wanted more. He wanted me to isolate myself from Mark, to ignore his calls, to sleep in the studio. "Prove your love for me, Eliza," he pleaded. "Show me that you're mine." Liam, a junior partner at Mark's firm, started coming around more often. He was charming, flirtatious, and made no secret of his interest in me. Mark, usually oblivious, seemed to notice. He became more attentive, more possessive. Theodore hated Liam. He saw him as a threat, a rival. "Get rid of him, Eliza," he commanded. "I don't want him near you." One evening, Mark and I had a dinner party. Liam was there along with several other colleagues. As the night wore on, Liam kept finding excuses to talk to me, his eyes lingering on me a little too long. Theodore was furious. I could feel his anger emanating from the painting, a palpable wave of cold. Glasses shattered in the kitchen. The lights flickered. A painting fell from the wall. Everyone stared at me, their faces etched with concern. Mark looked at me with a mixture of anger and fear. "What's going on, Eliza?" he demanded, his voice low and dangerous. "Nothing," I said, my voice trembling. "It's just an accident." After the guests left, Mark confronted me. "What the hell was that all about, Eliza? Are you trying to embarrass me?" "I didn't do anything," I protested. "Don't lie to me," he said, his eyes blazing. "You're acting crazy. It's that damn painting, isn't it?" He grabbed the painting off the wall, his face contorted with rage. "I'm getting rid of this thing. It's ruining our lives." "No," I screamed, lunging for the painting. "Don't you dare!" we struggled, the painting slipping from our grasp. It crashed to the floor, the canvas tearing, the frame splintering. Theodore roared, the house shook. The windows rattled. A gust of wind swept through the room, extinguishing the candles. "You can't destroy me," Theodore screamed. "I'm a part of her now, I'm in her." Blood. Mark backed away, his face white with terror. He looked at me, his eyes filled with a dawning horror. "Eliza," he whispered, "what have you done?" Theodore demanded the ultimate act of devotion. "Burn Mark's office to the ground." I didn't, of course, burn his office to the ground, but I fantasized about it, the lick of flames, the chaos, the freedom. I was losing myself, becoming a puppet, dancing to Theodore's tune. I decided to do some research. I needed to know more about the painting, about Theodore. I contacted a local historian, a woman named Sarah who specialized in 19th century art. Sarah was intrigued by my request. She came to the house, examined the painting, and took detailed notes. A week later, she called me with her findings. "The painting is authentic," she said. "It was painted by a relatively unknown artist named Thomas Ashton, and the subject is believed to be a man named Theodore Blackwood." "Tell me about Theodore Blackwood," I said, my voice trembling. "He was a wealthy landowner, a prominent figure in the community," Sarah said, "but he had a reputation. A dark one." "What kind of reputation?" "Rumors of madness, of obsession, of dark practices," Sarah said, her voice hesitant. "It was said that he was involved in the occult, that he dabbled in things he shouldn't have. He disappeared mysteriously in 1898, never found. Some people said he ran off with a lover. Others said he was murdered. Some even whispered that he was taken." "Taken by something unnatural," Sarah said. "It's just a legend, of course, but there were stories. Stories of a man who made a pact with something beyond this world, who traded his soul for power and immortality." I felt a chill run down my spine. "What about the artist, Thomas Ashton?" "He went mad," Sarah said. "Committed suicide shortly after painting the portrait. They say he was haunted by what he saw, by what he captured on canvas." I hung up the phone, my hand shaking. The truth was staring me in the face. Theodore wasn't just a ghost. He was something else, something darker, something dangerous. I knew I had to get rid of the painting, but I was afraid. I was afraid of what Theodore would do, afraid of what he had become a part of. I decided to contact a paranormal investigator. His name was David, and he was known for his rational, scientific approach to the supernatural. David came to the house, equipped with his EMF readers and thermal cameras. He spent hours investigating, taking readings, and asking questions. "There's definitely something here," he said finally, his voice serious. "A strong energy presence. It's centered around the painting. Can you get rid of it?" I asked, my voice pleading. "I can try," he said, "but it won't be easy. This entity is powerful, and it's deeply attached to you." David performed a cleansing ritual using sage, salt, and ancient incantations. The house filled with smoke and strange smells. I felt a surge of energy, a tingling sensation all over my body. Theodore screamed. His voice echoed through the house, filled with rage and despair. "You can't banish me," he roared. I'm a part of her, I'll never let her go. The ritual seemed to work, at least temporarily. The energy dissipated, the whispers ceased, the temperature returned to normal. David warned me that Theodore might try to return. He told me to stay vigilant, to protect myself, to resist his influence. For a few weeks, things were quiet. I started to feel like myself again. I reconnected with Mark, who was relieved to see me getting better. We started going out again, spending time together, trying to rebuild our marriage. One evening, as I was getting ready for bed, I caught a glimpse of myself in the mirror. I saw Theodore's face superimposed over my own, his eyes staring back at me with a chilling intensity. "You can't escape me, Eliza," he whispered. "I'm always with you. I'm inside you." I screamed, shattering the mirror. Mark rushed into the room, his face filled with alarm. "What's wrong, Eliza?" he asked, voice trembling. "He's still here," I sobbed. "He's still inside me." Mark held me close, his arms wrapped tightly around me. "It's okay, Eliza," he said. "I'm here. I'll protect you." But I knew he couldn't protect me. I was trapped, bound to Theodore by a force I couldn't control. A few days later, I woke up chained to my bed. Mark standing over me, screaming that I have lost my mind. He brought in Dr. Armstrong and some orderlies. They carted me away. Now I live in a facility. I have a room with soft walls and no paintings. Mark visits sometimes, but he doesn't look at me the same. He is scared. He should be. Sometimes when the moon is full, I can hear Theodore's voice. He whispers my name, promises me a world of eternal love and passion. He tells me he is still here. He tells me he is waiting, and I believe him, because I know deep down that he will never truly let me go. I saw his smile reflected in my teacup yesterday.